Right, welcome back and back to our main topic of tonight, which is the 13th African Ministerial Cooperative Council conference that was held here in Egypt, part of Egypt's strategy, not just for Egypt, but for the whole African continent at large. And the significance of this, let me here welcome our guests, Dr. Mohamed Kamel Morsy, expert in strategic management. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
The pleasure is all ours. And let me here take, this is the 13th African Ministerial Cooperative Council, and it is held for the very first time in Egypt. Today, Egypt assumed the presidency of the African Ministerial Cooperative Council here from Nigeria, and also won the hosting of the permanent headquarters of the African Organization for Housing Cooperatives in Cairo. How do you view this?
I think it's a great move. I think it's a clear significance of the leadership of Egypt in the African continent. I think it's a clear indication of the importance and the direction of Egypt for the leadership in the African continent, and making sure that we have sharing our knowledge and sharing our expertise in the different domains, including the cooperatives across the different nations in Africa.
Actually, we're speaking here about the Ministerial Cooperative Council, which is held here in Egypt after years of taking Africa as a first priority file. Sustainable development and the Egyptian strategy for housing, this initiative that Egypt is trying very much to extend to the whole African nations. How do you view this or the African file importance given by Egypt?
I think that the sustainable development is very important, and housing is a cornerstone of the sustainable development. I think Egypt during the last 5-6 years have made a lot of improvement and a lot of mega projects in the social housing and the cooperative housing, as well as the mid housing. I think that we have seen that the government have came with a number, over 500,000 or almost 600,000 unit already in social housing. It proves the importance of that segment and the focus on this in the economy. It is also with a very important another project in parallel with, which is Haya Karima. I think both are really mega projects, not only in Egypt, not only in Africa, but I think it's worldwide. The level and the magnitude of what is being done in the social housing is really something that is a leadership position that I'm sure that a lot of African countries can benefit from. The development in Africa and is very important. So we see a lot of African countries looking for the development of their housing sectors, from areas that are, don't want to use the word slums, but really developing social housing in a number of countries is something that is of extreme importance for the sustainable development in those countries. So I think that the experience and what we are seeing in terms of jumps or leapfrog jumps that we are seeing from Egypt is something that can be shared with a number of countries in Africa.
Here, Dr. Asim Al-Ghazar said that Egypt, through its presidency of the next session, will work to complete what has been accomplished and will cooperate with all the African countries to draw a roadmap for the cooperative system in the African continent at large that commensurate with the size of the current challenges of the continent in face of the many challenges we are facing. How do you view this? How do you view the importance of putting sustainable development goals, particularly at this upcoming stage, and extended to the African continent at large, in face of the true challenges we are, and when I'm speaking about we are, I'm speaking about all the continent plus, of course, all the world facing at this stage?
I think it's a very difficult,
yes,
difficult question. Let me try to start from the global challenge. So today the world is facing, after the pandemic, a global economic problem. And we're seeing slowdowns in the world economy, and we're seeing inflation rising across the different countries, as well as we're seeing a geopolitical challenges in Europe. The impact is significant. The impact is significant across the world. We're seeing developing economies suffering, and we're seeing a lot of measures and economic measures that are being taken across different countries. Egypt is part of the global economy, and we definitely are seeing a lot of economic challenges and impact from the global economy and the follow-up. I don't want to forget about the COVID and the pandemic and the problems of the pandemic, then the geopolitical crisis between Russia and Ukraine. I think all this has a significant impact on Egypt, namely or specifically on the increased prices of commodities, the increased prices of oil, and we're seeing also a slowdown in the financing of different government across the world, different treasury bills across the world. So a slowdown in the financing, and we're seeing a world that is moving to deglobalization. So the post-COVID world is a new world. So I think we're witnessing one of the toughest years, and this toughest year, we're moving to see a new world that is potentially coming in. We're started to see. I believe that Egypt, with all the development that is being done across the different sectors, especially the social sector, the cooperative housing, the social housing, it's a clear proof that we have a solid economy. I'm sure that we're facing challenges. I think that we as any other country across the world, and it is a very tough year.
The whole world. The whole world.
I think that, yes, so a lot of countries in the world, we have significant other countries that are on the other side of the commodities, that has the oil or that has the commodities are having growth in their economies at the moment. What we're seeing in terms of challenges at the moment is a reflection of the global economy. If you look into 2021, the GDP growth of Egypt with almost 6.5 or 6.6%, it's a clear proof that the economy was going in a very, very right direction. Now, with the global, with the overall economic slowdown in the world, I think that with a lot of social development and a lot of mega projects that we're doing, this is really a significant, how to say it, great thing to do. Yeah, it's a clear view that we're going and moving in the right direction.
Yesterday, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was addressing the 5th Cairo Water Conference that was held here in Egypt, where he spoke about the challenges that are facing the whole world, and spoke particularly about the importance of water, food, and climate change. And those are three parts that are very much relevant to any sustainable development strategies. Here, when we speak about Africa, and we speak about the enormous resources that Africa has, but also the importance of uniting in face of the challenges that we are facing together. What should be the steps to be carried out at this upcoming stage in order to be able to confront the challenges and continue on with our plans for sustainable development?
The steps to be taken to overcome the challenges are across different sectors. So in water sustainability, water is definitely essential for the economy, for life, for Egypt, for all countries. Egypt has entered in الفقر المائي, or water scarcity, water poverty, or scarcity.
Scarcity, indeed.
Since a number of years, and this is because the population, the use of water in agriculture. We have 80% of the water used in agriculture. Nevertheless, the government and the country has worked significantly throughout the different number of years in a lot of sustainable water management. So we have seen a lot of desalination plants. We have seen not only recycling plants from one cycle, but they recycle the grey water. So really number of stages of water recycling. I think that there has been a significant move to technology in agriculture. We have seen that Mustaqbal Masr project using technology in irrigation. So definitely there is a huge or a number of actions that has been taken towards water sustainability, and I'm sure that Egypt is taking this as a national importance. So it is really a significant topic, and we're doing the highest measures to make sure that we are really going into water sustainability.
Yes, indeed. In that sense, I mean, even before, but particularly when Egypt assumed the chairmanship of the African Union and many of the initiatives were really extended, or the Egyptian initiatives were extended to Africa. That is, as Egypt sees, part of its not just brotherly and one destiny and all this, but also because we share the same future and the same destiny. We're coming back to Egypt, and definitely in Egypt, Egypt has been witnessing its golden age in urbanization and development, and that is part of the huge or overall strategy Egypt has been putting for the mega projects that were initiated or and called on by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in all fields. How do you view the overall strategy of Egypt has taken for the urbanization development in Egypt and changing Egypt into a new phase to be able to announce the new republic?
It's another very difficult question.
No,
so I think
let me hear divided into this.
Yes.
How do you view the mega projects that were taken, especially the new cities, the infrastructure, roads and services, in order to provide citizens with the standard of living he deserves?
No, I think that the magnitude of work that has been done through the last 6-8 years is magnificent. I think that there has been a lot of development, not only in one sector, but across different sectors. So if we start by the infrastructure, we're seeing real development in cities, we're seeing a real significant in housing, we're seeing a lot of development in roads, we're seeing a lot of development in electricity as infrastructure and utilities. We're seeing desalination plants. We're seeing oil development and gas explorations. I think that we're moving really across different sectors. So Egypt is not focusing only on one sector, but focusing on all the important sectors and trying to develop under the direction of President Sisi. And we're really it is really translated into the GDP growth that we're seeing last year. Nevertheless, we are facing challenges similar to the challenges that are faced across the different countries across the world. I think that the main challenge that we are currently facing is a shortage in foreign currency, and it is not only related to Egypt, it is related to the international market. So the global financing market is slowing down. We're seeing that the interest rate in the US are increasing, and a lot of capital are being attracted to more developing countries. So it makes it more difficult for us to come and finance our budget deficit. So I think that if that challenge is overcome, I think we will see really the impact of all the infrastructure and all the projects or mega projects that have been implemented throughout the few years.
You pinpointed your finger on a very important world development, which is really reflecting on the economies of the whole world. That definitely was the US Fed when they increased the interest rate,
Yes.
the 0.75, reflecting on the foreign currencies or the currency or the money in all the world banks. And yes, indeed, if that did not reflect on economies, we would have felt the outcome and the fruits of the projects that we have done more
Definitely.
and more. But let me here say that since or a few years ago, there were some projects that Egypt carried out with especially in the infrastructures, in the roads, in the services, that gave Egypt a kind of life breath in order to endure some of the repercussions. Definitely, yes, the whole world is feeling. But we're moving on. So how did you read that? How did that give us a kind of life breath in order to be able to sustain?
I think the word sustainability or during a crisis is really focusing, is to focus on the important things. And currently I perceive that Egypt needs to focus on 4 key sectors or 4 key areas that really can move or benefit from the current infrastructure.
Yes.
The first one is the ability to export the development or the number of real estate development that have been there. So being able to attract foreign investors to buy in the current real estate, either commercial, residential, or administrative, is very important. The REITs or the real estate funds across the world, this is really something that is very big, and attracting REITs to come and invest in Egypt is a significant imports or income in foreign currency to Egypt. I think the second point is the modernization of the Egyptian industries. The modernization does not mean that we're opening new factories, but also means that we need to really sophisticate the factories that we're doing. We need to build economic value add. We need to compete in sectors that are related to R&D, that are related to innovation, and try to build a stronger economy. We try to build really a high economic, a high value add in the industries that we have. The third thing is we need to focus on export-oriented industries. And when I am talking about export-oriented industries, I'm not talking only on factories. I'm talking about mining. I'm talking about outsourcing of human capital to different countries. So today with the remote work, you could have an accountant living in Egypt and serving clients in Europe or in the States or in the Gulf. So the outsourcing industry or the mining industry or any industry that is focused on export should be a priority. The fourth thing, in my opinion, which is unfortunately is not really seen by a lot of people, but it is the how. So when you put the solution of the what, you need to talk about the how. And the how here is the human capital, is the development of the human capital. So when you're talking about problems in bureaucracy or problems in challenges that are faced by investors across different sectors, they are faced from human capital. So it is very important to develop the human capital. It's very important to build system and build the governance and build the right system to make sure that the human capital is leading this development.
I have only 1 minute left for me, and what you spoke about needs more than one episode. We are approaching the upcoming very important economic summit that will be held next week in Egypt. What do you think the magic word would be for this?
There is no magic word.
Summit?
I think it's so, as we saw in the promo by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, is the people, al-Muwatan. So the key word for me is professional work by everyone across all sectors, public, private, all sector, cooperatives. It is really about the human being, and it's really about professional and putting the right systems.
So the magic word really is human capital vis-a-vis work. Yes.
There is no magic word, but if I choose one.
We're speaking here about this magic theory.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, my time is out, and I have to end it here. Where we would have extended our episode for the last of what we were speaking about, but we'll be speaking about that in other episodes. Dr. Mohamed Kamel, Morsy, expert in strategic management. We thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
And dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Tomorrow will be another important debate with another colleague. Good night.